Hi guys! Today we're going to be talking about things that are heavy and light. So we're talking about a lot of opposites. So far we've done long and short, we've done tall and short, and now we're going to do light and heavy. So you guys probably know what something heavy is, right? When it's so hard for you to lift it up, you have to really work to lift it. That is heavy, right? But something that is light, you might not really talk about very much, but if it's easy to lift up, like this card, it's really easy to lift it up. It doesn't hardly weigh anything. It's very, very light, okay? So for today, I need you to go around your house before we even look at our lesson, and I want you to find a kind of heavy book. Don't find one that's like made of paper and is really light, like this book right here. It's pretty light. It's pretty light. But this book right here is kind of heavy. Not really, I can still kind of throw it around, but it's much heavier than this book. Okay, so find a book that's kind of heavy. You can pause the video and come back when you found a heavy book. Okay, and while you guys are finding your heavy book, I am going to switch over to our lesson, which today is number 11.4, and it looks like this. And let's start by writing our first and last names. Being better and better every day. All right. And this little boy is holding two different things. He's holding a little block in this hand, and he's holding a big book in this hand. So if you can see me in my little square, I've got this big heavy book, and then I've got this little block. And to me, if I go like this, the one that falls down is usually the heavier one. My book is heavier than my block. Now, if I got a big, humongous block, it would probably weigh more than this book. But a little block like this, and like this little boy has, is going to be lighter than the heavy book. So I want you to circle the block because it's lighter, and X out the book because it's heavier. I'm talking about light and heavy today. Okay. All right, these top two, we're gonna look for something that's heavier, and the bottom two, we're gonna look for something that's lighter. So think about the scissors that you have. You don't have to even hold them in your hand. You can just kind of think about it. Which one of these three things, a paper clip, a book, or a rubber band, is gonna weigh more and be heavier than a pair of scissors? I'm thinking it's gonna be this heavy book. This book is gonna be heavier than a pair of scissors. So let's circle the heavy book. Okay. And the next one, we have a notebook, a notepad. So notepads can be a little bit heavy if they're full or if there's lots of pages in them. But look at this backpack. This backpack is full of stuff. It's got maybe some more notebooks in it and books, and it's got pencils, and it's a big backpack and it's all full. Okay, and that might be heavier than just one notebook by itself. Yep. What about one of our tiny little blocks? Can you remember how light those are? They're really tiny and really light. And think about the pencil that you have in your hand. It's pretty light too. That's why we can carry them around and write with them all day, right? Our hands don't get that tired because they don't weigh that much. They're not that heavy. So something that might be heavier than this notebook could be this full backpack. Backpacks at the end of the day sometimes are very heavy. Okay, now let's think about a marker. Markers might weigh a little bit more than your pencil, but not a lot. So let's think about something that could be lighter than your marker, okay? So we have a notebook, we have a paper clip, and we have a jug of paint. So let's think about it. Marker is pretty light. Notebooks, they can be kind of heavy if they have a lot of pages in them. So I think that this is gonna be heavier than a marker. Paper clips hardly weigh anything. You see this? I can hold it with just my pinky finger, really. See if I can do it. Yeah, my pinky finger is not very strong, and it can hold a paper clip. So paper clips don't weigh very much at all. They're very, very light. And then a jug of paint kind of weighs like the same as a water bottle, maybe even a little bit more. So that's kind of heavy. So I think the only thing that could be lighter than a marker would be the paper clip. All right, now let's think about an eraser. Erasers don't weigh very much. I have an eraser right here. It's pretty light. I can kind of hold it in one hand. It's pretty easy. I can pick it up and down nice and easily. All right. This is one of our counters, you know, when we're filling up the 10 frame and we flip them over, and I can give you a whole big bag of them, and it's basically weightless. They're made of foam and they're very, very light. This is a toy tractor, and it looks like maybe it's even holding some sand in there. That looks like it might be kind of heavy. And then a tape dispenser. Tape dispensers can be made of plastic and they can be really lightweight. But this one kind of looks like maybe it's made to be used more than one time, like the ones that teacher uses in the classroom. So that gets kind of heavy. So I think the only thing that can be lighter than an eraser would be one of those foam counting dots. Nice and light. All right, so we found heavier than a scissors, heavier than a notebook, lighter than the marker, and lighter than the eraser. Okay, next page. This is the page where I told you you needed to find a book, okay? So I want you to hold that book, and then I want you to go find something else around you, make it kind of close, that weighs less than the book. So it's gonna be lighter than the book, okay? I'll give you 10 seconds, so find it real fast. Alrighty, I hope you found something. I have this eraser that we just talked about. So this eraser is very light. It's very easy for me to lift. I need two hands. If I have to hold it with one hand, my arm's gonna get pretty tired, okay? So my eraser weighs less, it's lighter than my book. So I am going to draw my eraser right here. Doesn't really look like an eraser, but I know what it is. I'll draw paper here, and then I'll even write the word eraser. There we go. My eraser is lighter than my book. Okay, and down here, I want you just to think. Look around you everywhere. I want you to think about something that's going to be heavier than your book. What is heavier than your book? You know what I'm looking at right now? I'm looking at my computer. My computer is heavier than my book. It has a battery in there, it's got a keyboard, it's got the screen, it's got cords. My computer is not very light. It is heavy. So I'm gonna draw a picture of my computer, but you could draw a picture of something else that you see around you that's heavier. Maybe your couch. Do you think your couch is heavier than your book? If you try to lift your couch up later, that's gonna be really heavy. Or maybe your car outside. That's much heavier than your book. You couldn't carry that if you tried. Or maybe your table that you're working on might be heavier than a book. So I want you to draw a picture of something right here that you can see or that's around you that you can think of that is heavier than a book. I'm gonna draw my computer. Maybe I'm gonna draw me on the computer. There I am. I'm gonna draw my keyboard. Draw my keys. My computer is heavier than my book. All right, last page. Okay, on here, I want you to draw something that you know is really heavy and something you know is really light. And then I want you to circle the lighter one, okay? So I was talking earlier about my car and maybe even me, okay? So I have a car. My car kind of looks like this. Window here, and a window here, and another window back in the back like that. I am not a very good artist today. My windshield, and then I've got a door handle, maybe another door handle. There we go. It's kind of a silly picture, but it looks like my car a little bit. And that is heavy compared to me. I'm gonna stand outside my car. I cannot lift up my car because it is too heavy. So here's me. I have my hair in a ponytail. And I'm saying, hello, everybody, I miss you. Standing outside my car. All right. And what do you think weighs more, my car or me? Probably my car. Cars usually weighs hundreds and hundreds of pounds. People, you don't usually weigh that much. So I'm going to circle the car because it's heavier. Circle the one that's heavier. You don't have to draw a car, and you could draw your book and your pencil. Which one do you think would be heavier? Probably your book is going to be heavier than your pencil. What if you decided to draw you and your baby brother? What do you think is going to be heavier? Probably you, right? Because you're bigger, you've lived longer, you've eaten more food. Your baby brother, probably not so much. And maybe you could draw a table and a chair. Which one do you think is heavier between a table and a chair? Well, when you want to sit down in the chair, you can pull the chair out and then you can sit on it and you can move it really easily. But if you have to try and lift the whole table, that's going to be pretty heavy. So the table would be heavier. All right, so draw your picture on the back there, draw two things and circle the heavier one. All right, good job doing math today, and I will see you guys next time for the next one.